You guys ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. 2 tribes, not 3. We've seen too much of 3 lately. Colors stick to pink and green, like the first one. They match perfectly on the color wheel, and pink is underutilized. 10 players per tribe. Of course, 1 swap only. The game is crazy enough with all the advantages. Keep it to 1. 1 is simple. Simple is nice. Speaking of advantages, hide the idols at challenges again. That was cool. I don't think anyone would expect it. In fact, up the ante. Hide them at tribal. Try different types of idols. 50-50 idols, half idols, shot clock idols. Mix that up a bit. Extra vote? Sure. Nullifier? Nah. No Exile Island, no Ghost Island, no Redemption Island, and no Edge of Extinction. Ladies and gentlemen, Internet, my name is Peridiam, and welcome to the creation of Survivor Second Chance 2. Now let's get to the fun part. Let's cast this legendary season. Obviously, we're looking at 20 players in the cast with a gender split of 10 and 10, but this is Second Chance 2, and we've already got a nice template for the first one that I think worked wonders, was a major hype machine, and I love me some hype. So in this video, I'm going to be throwing at you guys 32 former one-time Survivor players who could be eligible to be voted into this season. Just like with Cambodia, it is the fans who get to decide the cast, not just one fan. I'm just going to be selecting who's on the ballot. Ultimately, let me know which 20 players of these 32 that I'm about to show you would like to see get cast on this season. But otherwise, let's get going. First 8 men in no order. In fact, I randomized the order just for the heck of it. We have Davey from David versus Goliath. I like Davey a lot. He's a self-ascribed nerd, big Survivor fan, and I almost feel like he could have won the season instead of Nick had things broken out differently in that endgame. Put him on the ballot and send him back to Fiji. I've mentioned this next guy several times before, but give me Dominic from Ghost Island, the only player to lose the game in a tie final vote. Being that close, I almost think Dominic is like the modern variant of Kelly Wigglesworth in that he best represents the theme of second chance, being not one vote away from winning the game, literally getting half of the jury on his side. A lot of what ifs, but not this time. Put him on the ballot. 3 Ds in a row, as the third guy is Devon from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers, who I'm not sure will ever play again, but I would love to see what he brings as a returnee. We'll never truly know if he would have won had he beat Ben in Fire, but I could see it, and he may be a dark horse pick to win this entire Second Chance 2 season. And of course, a fan favorite who I know many want back already is Jay from Millennials vs. Gen X. We've seen Jay appear on the challenge. I know he's been involved in the Survivor community and keeps watching the show. Jay has Second Chancer written all over him, and I want the counterpart to Adam Klein to show us what he's got in store. One of my personal favorites from a recent season, it's Christian from David vs. Goliath. Another David who is one of the greatest modern characters who kind of just pops on screen, incredibly telegenic and endearing with also a good understanding of the game. I need Christian back like yesterday, but I will settle for tomorrow.
The chicken has flown the coop. The word is out. The target is Jess. And I am surprised how fast things changed, but I'm encouraged that things move so fast that I feel a hyper-frenetic person like me is the ideal person to handle it all.
Or what about the Kool-Aid Man himself? Oh yeah, we have Rick Devons. Rick was all over the place, and I know he's a major fan favorite, and I would kind of say he technically got a second chance with the Edge, but that's more of a technicality, so whatever. Shoo him in, he's going to Fiji, it's obvious. Now, finally, a player not from the last 10 seasons. I brought him up before, but I want to see another fan return, so give me Reynold from Caramoan. I know he's still got his head in the game. I think he's perfect for this kind of theme and inclusion on the ballot. And then lastly, for this first batch of 8 guys, we have the most recent runner-up, Dean from Island of the Idols. Dean is new school and he's always smiling, and I think his arc on that season was compelling. Also, not for nothing, he's the most recent one-time runner-up, so second chance kind of just makes sense. Now for the first 8 women. It wouldn't be a second chance season without giving a few of the first time second chancers who did make the cut a second chance. That was a little confusing, but give me Mama C, Carolyn from Worlds Apart, the most recent runner-up before the first second chance season. A lot of first and second chances here. I know she's hungry to take that win. I have seen it, and I think we missed a lot by not having her on the first one. And then, of course, we get the one and only Angelina from David versus Goliath. I mean, of course. One of the most unique personalities in modern Survivor, arguably one of the most impactful. I think this season needs her. I also think she'd be a shoo-in, and for good reason. In a similar vein to Mama C, I brought her up in my Heroes vs. Villains 2 cast, not Angelina, my next person on the list. I keep trying to get this person brought up. Maybe it'll be this season. Give me Sabrina from One World, who was also in the running for Cambodia. Sabrina lost to one of the greats on One World, and I believe there's a lot left in her tank, and I think she deserves to prove herself one more time. Next up, can we bring back Michelle Yee from Fiji? The original OG Rob Fijian goddess. This woman got a raw deal at the pseudo merge of that season, and I'm still not sure why, and it has been too long. Hashtag bring back Michelle Yee. Put her on the ballot.
The fact that I've been through, the old Ravu situation, I know I can sleep in the dirt and not eat a lot of food for a while. Me and Earl actually exchanged glances and we're like, this is great, we can totally do this. Cassandra, Stacy, and Boo have been living the whole time on honeymoon Fiji here, and they're like, oh my god, we're gonna die.
Also put Gabby from David vs. Goliath. Perhaps we have a lot of recency bias now with the DVG representation, but I think it's warranted. Personally, I really like Gabby. I like her sense of humor. She's not afraid to show her emotion, nor is she afraid to make a pivotal move that could be in her best interest. I would vote for her. I also want Kelly from Island of the Idols. I think Kelly would be a lock to return, just given how strong of a gamer she was, finding 3 idols in the first half of the season, making huge plays before even the merge, and of course, getting a bit of redemption for what happens next. And now we get some real old school representation. I want to see Twyla from season 9 Vanuatu, the runner-up to Chris, get put on the ballot. She was dragged for her game, but she was playing hard, and I think she could make a dent in a newer season. Underrated, and why not? And then lastly for this batch, we get Chrissy from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. Again, if Devon beats Ben in Fire, who wins? Chrissy tied the record for female comp wins in one season. She's one of the all-time greats, and I think she's learned a lot. And heck, I think a second chance after that unexpected fire-making advantage is right up her alley. Okay, switching gears, 8 more men. You guys, I want Sean back from Marquesas. If you don't remember his season, get to watching. Sean was one of the better characters of the old school classic era of the show, and I think he would crush a modern season. I want to go way back and dig deep into Survivor's history and bring us full circle, and Sean is just the beginning. Going even further back, this is another Peridiam pipe dream, but could someone contact Greg from Borneo on his coconut phone and tell him to get back into the limelight? I don't know what to expect with Greg, and I don't think I'll ever really need to wonder, but as far as digging deep goes, you really can't dig much deeper than that, so put Greg on the ballot too. Another player who I think fits this theme to a T is someone who has kind of been forgotten about in Survivor history. But give me Dreams from Fiji. Dreams lost to Earl in that final tribal and was involved in that car fiasco with Yowman. I would argue Dreams is one of the most unique players in the history of the show. He was homeless and he played the game well, and I think getting a second chance would be a really cool narrative given his first outing.
This is my first time here. It was a day that I'll remember forever. When I got that brand new truck, it was my next step up. And when these kids got this stuff for the classroom, they knew that was their next step up. I related to them 100%.
I almost think that this second batch of guys on my list is less realistic, unfortunately, but I want to see more Marquesas representation, so let's include John, the first power player to really have their plans upended at the merge. If you don't remember, John went toe-to-toe with Boston Rob and beat him, and that was it. But is that not enough? I think John is a perfect old school rep for a second chance. Or what about Hayden from Blood vs. Water? Technically his third chance if you include Big Brother, but in this case we're not. Hayden causes one of the biggest moments in Survivor history with that rock draw, the first one since season 4, and I have literally watched him play Big Brother live, and I know he is that good, and he'd definitely be another low-key winner pick of mine. Kenny, the Smash Bros player from Gabon, should have already come back if you're asking me. One of the biggest names from his season. Kenny is a gamer, and I am fairly confident he would adapt really quickly to just another game, more modern Survivor. Kind of like Hayden or even Sean, I want to give the players who were so close, just a little bit more recognition. And now a player who wasn't as close, but basically can take a lot of the credit, would be a modern big name with Wardog from Edge of Extinction. Wardog was a sneaky assassin who largely dictated a lot of the votes his season. He was also given credit for Chris's blueprint upon returning at the final 6. If Wardog has his head that deep into the game, even when he's sitting on the edge, I can only begin to imagine what he would get up to with a second chance. And then lastly for the guys, perhaps fittingly so, we have a player who gave up his first chance to win something bigger than the money. But now he's just gonna be here for the money, I hope. It is Ian from Palau. Ian competed in the longest challenge in Survivor history against Tom Westman, and eventually he kind of broke and threw in the towel after 12 hours being crouched on a buoy, mind you. Under those circumstances, I would cut him a little bit of slack. Another player who I think fits the theme to a T, I've always wanted Ian back. He kind of reminds me of one of my friends from school, and damn it, I'm gonna put his name out there. So, 8 more women to go. It's a lot, isn't it? But is it more than a busted can of biscuits? Yep, let's give fan favorite Elaine from Island of the Idols a second chance. That season had a decent cast of characters amidst the dark cloud, and I think there is room to shine. And you know what? On that sentiment, give me Janet and Lauren too, both from the same season. Both of these women were frontrunners to win, and Lauren is low-key one of the strongest players in recent history, and Janet was the beating heart of her season. I was compelled to see what she was gonna do. I want them both on that ballot. I want to see them both play again.
I'm so grateful and thankful to have an idol that could possibly get me to the Final 4. It's just blowing my doors off. Could you imagine me winning? It's like it could happen.
Sydney from Ko-Rong is another strong player who doesn't really get talked about too much, partnering with Aubrey and Michelle. Sydney unfortunately was cut right before the final tribal, but she was the linchpin on both the Brawn tribe and then the Merge tribe when it came to rallying and taking the guys out. They've said they kind of hated her so much for doing that I'm not sure she would have won that season. But maybe a second chance without them will do the trick. We got 4 names left to go, so let's bounce around. First, let's get real old school. I want T-Bird from season 3, Africa. Teresa was a sweetheart. She still is. Very lovable, friendly, a fan favorite who should have been cast the first time if I'm being real. She may be the ideal old school female player who has more to give us. I can just see her being a really important element in the entertainment value of this cast, and I think that is so critical to what makes a cast so good. With more modern seasons, we have 2 women from the same season, that being the Edge of Extinction. Give me Victoria and Lauren. 2 women who got in the way, and in Lauren's case, paved the way for Chris's victory march. Victoria was the biggest threat after Rick to win, and I love her irreverent nature and how brutal she could get, and I'm saddened we didn't get to see much of it. So give her another shot. Also, Lauren, because you don't just team up with Kelly Wentworth and hold the record for holding an idol at the most tribals and not get a second chance. This time without the Edge, thank you. I'm here for it. But you know who I'm ending this video with? A woman who was just cut from being on the Villains tribe in Heroes vs. Villains, who flosses with her victims' jugulars, who doesn't hold back and is woefully underreported. It's Natalie from Micronesia. If I can put one male fan with Reynolds, let's put a female with Natalie. Natalie did not get a lot of screen time her season, but when she did, oh my gosh, she made it count. Fans versus favorites are inherently stacked against the fans, and I think there's a lot of great reasons to bring her back and vote for her to be on, so I'm putting her right here at the tail end, at the very end of this all. Put Natalie Bolton on the ballot.
What if me, you, and Sari vote Amanda tonight?
Right.
This is where it gets funny and tricky. You give me your necklace.
And I know many people are going to be saying, where the heck was Shane? Where is Shane Powers? To be honest, I don't want to put Shane through the ringer yet again. Honestly, I feel bad for the number of times he's been contacted and hasn't gotten on the show, so I'm not going to do that to him. Speaking as a super fan of this show, by far and away the biggest disappointment who was not to be cast on the first second chance was Shane. I can't do that again. So if anyone gets to rise above the ballot and just be instantly included, I would put Shane there, but That's not the rules here. I don't get to make the rules, but I will see what I can do. So that's it. As if that wasn't enough. 32 or maybe even 33 former one-time Survivor players up on the ballot. Who you voting for? Because I would love for this season to exist. It's one of my favorite themes for a returning player season, and it's not like it can't happen again. It should happen again. But otherwise, that's going to be the ballot. That's going to be the future cast. That's the makeup of the season. That's the creation of Survivor. Second Chance 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to remind me who you might want on this ballot that I did not include. Don't forget to vote, cast your vote, make it count on your way out. And I will see you in the next one once I spam Prope's Twitter feed to make this season an actual reality. It needs to happen.
I don't want to tell you exactly what it looks like. It's just put it this way, we're all very excited to be here.
And I'm sorry that all of you can't play. I really am, and it doesn't mean you won't get another shot. Shane, you will not get a second chance. Jeremy, you will get a second chance.
The winner of Survivor Second Chance.
Shane.